Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bikini and the Brain podcast. My name is Ashley Kaltwasser. To my left is Adam Bonilla, TeamElitePhysique.com.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great and had a good weekend. We're back here on Monday.
Oh, just surprised you guys.
Surprise you, yeah.
Surprise.
I'm flying out to Pittsburgh this week. Yeah, Masters Nationals, Teen Collegiate Masters Nationals.
How exciting.
I'm excited about it. I actually am really excited about it. I like going on my Pittsburgh trip. I go once a year, so once in a while, twice a year, but I like my Pittsburgh trip. So it's going to be fun. Going to be exciting. It's going to be a crazy weekend. I have a girl competing in Columbia, Pittsburgh, then a pro show, then another pro show. Dana got second this weekend.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah, she's so close. She's like an inch away, second twice
in
Masters to get to the Masters Olympia.
Okay.
Yeah. And then she's like, I got another one in me. I'm like, all right. So then she's competing in Chicago. Tiana's trying to jump back on stage.
Okay.
Columbia, we're going after it for a pro card. We got Masters Nationals. Then we have next weekend, we have USA's, then Vancouver. Whew. It's going to be crazy. July is always nuts, man. Yeah. July is always nuts. So I'm excited for it. Getting ready to get my coffee ready to go the next 14 days of coffee in my veins. And we're good to go. And we also have an awesome seminar coming up at Colt Fitness.
Yes, we do. On
the
19th, right? 19th.
On the 19th, 10 a.m. This one is open to the public. You guys come on out, see Ashley, Tori, Kimber. Everyone's going to be there helping out with posing. And then if you're wellness, 11 o'clock with Bruna will be there for wellness. And it is free. Colt Fitness is becoming one of the fitness kind of meccas in Vegas. Awesome gym, very good community out there if you're in the area to check out. And he doesn't charge anyone to come into the gym that day.
Awesome. So This is Colt Fitness, CULT Fitness in Henderson, Nevada. So
yeah,
hope to see you there.
Yeah, it'd be fun. 10 o'clock. And we're doing giveaways. I bought 2 more suits. I bought 2 more suits. Yeah. Hopefully they go to good use. What else do I got? I'll probably do something with Shoe Fairy too. Shoe Fairy's always been really taking care of us. So thank you, Shoe Fairy, for that. Probably give some shoes away. And if you're ever out, come on out and take advantage of it. Learn from some of the best. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, what if you're not ready to step on stage and not ready to go to posing class because you fell off? Like so many of us have. I've been there. Ashley's been there. Yes. Everyone's been there. So we don't want to knock you if you have fallen off. It's just I think it's like a rite of passage, right? So
wrong one.
Oh, okay. I think it's just a rite of passage for everyone who competes. Like everyone seems to do a show and then eventually kind of fall off. So, All right.
So, what is a post-show rebound? Because it can a few different types of rebounds, I guess you could say, right? We can have a more temporary, sudden rebound, or we can have a more long-lasting rebound that is usually fat.
Yeah.
So, Adam, break it down for us. What's going on?
Yeah, you know what's good? I'm glad that you actually asked this question because not all rebounds are bad rebounds too. We have to go into that too. And I think that this is where a lot of
I think they're both bad, but one's worse.
Yeah, well, I should say one isn't body fat.
Yes, one is temporary.
Yes, there we go. Yeah. So, and I think this is where a lot of the miscommunication comes up where I will say, hey, you shouldn't be up X percentage of weight after a show. It's very person dependent. So if you're someone who's, let's say cutting water for a show. Now I don't cut water. I will minimize a day of the show. But even then it's not that low. It's like, it's not crazy low for the day of the show. It's just sips and whatnot. And maybe the day before the show, we'll kind of monitor it, but it's never like crazy low. But if you're someone who does cut water and you use, let's say, things to get rid of water, you got to get that water back in your body. So if you weigh 120 on stage, but then 2 days before the show, you're weighing 128, yeah, that water's going to come back. You're going to get back to 128 like rapidly fast because you're just hydrating. That's it. So there's nothing wrong with that weight. And I wouldn't call that even a rebound. It's just normal. Now, I've had friends who go the other direction. I had a friend who ended up in the hospital because he gained so much water weight back, but he was also being dumb and he was in bodybuilding and he cut all his water because bodybuilders do, took things to help with water. And then he ate like crazy the next day. They went out, pizzas, whatnot, and he gave himself such bad water retention that he actually ended up in the hospital, which is crazy. I didn't even know that. Yeah, that was like something back then I didn't even know it could happen. I was like, you did what? He's like, yeah, look at my difference of weight. And he was a shorter bodybuilder. I think he was like 180 something on stage because he was big, but he was little. He was like 5'2", and he would put on 40 something pounds in like 5 days or something. Yeah. And it was just his blood pressure was so high. So be careful with that stuff, of course. And how you eat post show is a big factor on that. You know, he went from like a cutting out sodium, cutting out water, you know, things that help his body get rid of water, like diuretics, and then just ton of sodium, ton of water, ton of everything. And then you put yourself in a nightmare situation. So not necessarily a bad thing if you're gaining a little bit of water weight, unless you're getting these like crazy blood pressure increases, things like that. So be smart with that. Now, the other rebound, the one that we are worried about, is not just you gaining back your water weight and filling out your glycogen storage. So when you're, another thing to take into account, I guess I'm going into a longer thing, but I guess it's required. When you're on stage, we're rarely shooting for 100% fullness. We're rarely shooting for that. A lot of times people chase fullness and filling out more than they need to. You know, you being 100% full and then spilling over a little bit and being a little bit softer versus you being, you know, 92, 95% full and keeping your sharpness, there's a very little benefit to going that extra level of fullness. I'm not shooting for the 100% unless the girl's too tight. If she's too tight, then I can shoot for super full. And if she spills, whatever, who cares? But for the most part, it's like, okay, I just want to get you looking right, whatever that is. So you still have glycogen to store. You still have, your muscles aren't completely full. So then you eat post show, you eat some carbs, and yeah, of course you're going to gain some more weight because you still have to fill out. And every gram of carbs that you soak in about 3 grams of water with it. So yeah, you're going to gain some weight. So that's going to be, these are good post show rebounds, just getting back to normal, right? Getting your hydration back to normal, getting your carbs filled out your frame. That's the good ones, right? And then the bad ones, right, are going to be excessive body fat. Yes, that'd be excessive body fat, not some body fat, but excessive body fat. That's where we get into the bad ones, right? I know.
It's a shame. But like I said, it's happened to everyone, I think. So
yep,
it's those who learn from that keep going and don't make that mistake.
I like to think I'm in just a very progressed post-show rebound at this point.
Please break that down for us.
Like 10 years post-show or whatever it is.
You?
Yeah. I'm just in a very progressed rebound post-show stage where I'm about 15 pounds above stage weight.
You know. Well, you're not competing anytime soon. So
yeah, I blew it.
So what are like the mental reasons that someone might experience a rebound? Because, you know, mental is kind of what determines our physical. So obviously being so restrictive during prep, right? We can't have the foods we crave all the time. Our foods are limited. We're more, you know, we don't maybe to have as much fun as we would in the off season. And some people really miss those foods. They were a part of their lives, and, you know, maybe they're a foodie and they feel very restricted this whole time. So when the floodgates open, you know, it's chaos sometimes. So being like overly restrictive during prep obviously can cause that. Now it's tricky because you can't, you know, what is overly restrictive versus having a little flexibility? That's going to be different for everyone. Some people won't notice that much of a difference between the foods that they're already eating and the foods that they want. Because, for example, me, like, I don't really crave a lot of things outside of my prep foods, maybe a little bit here and there, and I'll pick and I'll snack. But like, I don't have these intense cravings for foods that I'm missing out on because I don't miss them, you know? So that is a habit that like I broke, like wanting the really bad foods like 10 years ago. And I always talk about this. Like I used to always, for like a good cheat meal, I'd have like a Little Caesars hot and ready pizza, and I would probably have a brownie or something for dessert. I don't know. But I used to have those cravings. I don't so much anymore. But if you're, you know, having those cravings in the prep, it's obviously going to come to light even more so in the off season, because you can technically have it, I guess, since you're not competing.
Yeah. What is it about Little Caesars pizza? I think we've talked about it before. It's
because it's a good deal and they have great marinara sauce.
Yeah. It's funny is we go to our favorite pizza place in Vegas is Setabello Pizza. I think that's the best pizza that I've had. It's so good.
How do you spell that?
Setabello. I'll have to I think it's Setabello or
never heard of it.
Sotello, something. I'll have to look it up. but it's delicious. It's a really good.
What
really,
makes
really good.
it so good?
They fly in their flour. It's like I don't know if
the
it.
flour?
I don't. Yeah, it's a flying flour. I don't know. I don't know if it's like an Italian
Is
flour.
it like better than Little Caesars though?
Oh yeah.
No.
The Little Caesars is nostalgic. So it's different. It has it hits differently, right? It's like mom's cooking, right? Like mom's cooking isn't selling out on menus at a restaurant, but mom's cooking to you is like the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's it is so Settlebello, Setteebello. It's
Okay.
delicious. But we every time, so I'm the same way as you. We eat pretty much clean food like 99% of the time, but maybe once a month me and Kimber will go pizza hunting or
Pizza hunting.
yeah, we're like foodies, right? So
Yeah.
we search all the things in Vegas and I follow all the influencers and we're like, oh, let's try this new restaurant. Then we get there and we'll just have like a little thing
Mhm.
or it'll be like our big thing for the month. So it's fun, but we get out all the time. We're foodies too, but there's still a good way to balance it. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because we always end up at Settlebello because the pizza's so good, but then we always regret using our pizza investment of the month. We call it because we say it's expensive. The calories are expensive. We use our pizza like calorie expense for that one, and then we're like, oh, we got to one day. We just got to go to Little Caesars. We got to do it one day. But it's such an exchange. So
You got to bring it home with a little side of marinara dipping sauce.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah, it's so good to just slam a Little Caesars hot and ready. That's my tangent on Little Caesars. But that being said, I like how you said you have to figure out who you are. You got to figure out what you are. If you are the person who's going to rebound every time you've done 3 shows and every time you put on 30 pounds, you got to figure that out. You got to figure out, okay, what is it about my prep that makes me want to do that? Why do I feel such an urge that I can't control it? And I think the answer for most of those people is you can't be so restricted in your prep. For you, it's just not for you. You got to find a way where when you're in your prep, you could still have some food. So that way, when you're done, you have your thing like I do once a month, once every couple of weeks, I'll have a donut or whatever. And I'm fine. The rest of the time I eat like prep food for the most part. So that it shouldn't feel like you've been in jail and I'm out of jail. I'm in jail and I'm out of jail. And the problem is that the people who do that, they know they're doing it, they do it. And then their way that they answer that problem, the way they solve their problem is like, I'll just do another show and I'll be super restricted again for 16 weeks. And then they don't solve any problem. It's like, no, the answer is good in the off season. And the way that you prep from now on is you have 1 meal a week. You have, a calorie bank throughout the week that you could pick from whatever you want. So that way, when you're done with your show, you don't feel like you're let out of jail. You just feel like, oh, I don't really want anything this week. I'll just have my normal donut, whatever that I've been having, or because you just don't feel like you haven't had it. So it's just for you got to be realistic with yourself. Last week I talked about that ultimate client who was like so perfect on her diet. That works great for her. For you, might not be that person. You might feel so restricted that way that next time you get out of jail, you're just like rah 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 rah, Cookie Monster status,
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Let's solve the problem before it happens, and that would be be realistic with yourself. Everyone wants to be the gladiator in the prep where they just eat chicken breast and asparagus and say like, I did it, chicken breast, asparagus. Take my picture on Instagram, 5 meals a day, right? But maybe that's too hardcore for you. Maybe that's not best for your mindset. And so I think solve the problem within the prep, talk to your coach and say, hey, I've done this 3 times. I've rebounded 30 pounds each time. I need to solve this. Can we start adding in a free meal once a week, something once a week? That way I don't go through this again. And that way my next prep isn't so hard either,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is one of the things that if you're smart about it, it shouldn't happen more than a few seasons if it does, because you're going to learn so much about yourself during these preps. And I think that's probably why I'm able to manage it so well, is because I've learned my mindset so well and my body so well that I know myself and what I can handle and all that good stuff. And I even got to the point where I can kind of do a little intuitive eating in the off season. So, that's, I guess, the ultimate, level to it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. The more shows you do, the more preps you do, you'll discover this about yourself and what foods do it and what are fine. So yeah, it's a learning process. I also find that this rebound mentally can happen when you have the black or white mindset, the all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're on or off. And that mindset, we want to get rid of it, because there is a lot more gray area to it. And I feel like a lot of my years spent in the gray area, like not prepping, but not off season. I'm just kind of, maintaining lean. So I don't think that we should think of it as just on or off, and just kind of more so live in the gray would be ideal.
Yeah. And I think that most people should be living in the gray. Like, if you're a fitness person, there shouldn't be a time where you're not concerned about being fit, And I think that that's where a lot of the problem comes from, is there's like, my fit time is when I'm in show prep, and the rest of the time is just me time. It's just fun time. It really should be, you should always be concerned with, okay, I don't want to gain excessive body fat. I want to make sure that I'm maximizing my gym use and gaining lean mass, but not gaining more body fat than necessary. What's best for my progress right now? So yeah, I think that it, most of the time should be in that, always that cautious phase, and, have realistic expectations of how much weight you should be gaining per week. It's for a bikini competitor, I say it all the time, it's not going to be 1 pound a week of pure lean mass. If you're gaining 1 pound a week, you're going to be gaining some body fat. Once you're past that initial, kind of recapture period of your post show. Now, I also think there's a lot of misconception on, metabolic damage and metabolic slowdown from preps and whatnot. Are you going to slow down metabolically from prep? Yeah, you're going to have some minor slowdown, but what are the reasons for it? Well, some of the reasons are you just weigh less, period. When you weigh less, you burn less calories. That's like one of the main reasons. When you carry around less weight, yes, it's easier for your body. When you carry around less weight, you burn less calories, right? So when we do metabolic testing and we test people for, pre-show, post-show, and they've tested, it's not a big percentage. It's not like my metabolism is 50% slower than it was when I started prep. You're not having these huge decreases in metabolism where you can blame that for it. 99% of it is going to be just you're eating more than you need to. And that's really what it is. Now, there are things that do change, that when you go from super restricted to not restricted at all, like the hunger hormones, right? You have that noted in here. So
yes.
Go for
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
So, I mean, even me, and like I said, I'm not like a super big foodie, not saying I don't like food. Please don't get it twisted. I don't obsess over it like a lot of competitors do. But even me, like I'll notice probably like starting Monday after a show, and I'm going into like off season from Monday till probably Sunday. So an entire week, I'm like extra hungry. So that's even me. I notice like, oh, I'm feeling it now, so that is a thing. So be careful in that, especially I want to say like few weeks after a show. It's kind of like the danger zone in a way. Your cravings are likely to get intensified. You're going to be a little more hungry, or a lot more hungry. So just be cautious of that, and be prepared, and have those healthy foods stocked. Even eat your vegetables first if you need to. I don't know, but learn some self-control, especially in that post few weeks.
I think that's honestly the nail on the head there, right? Nail on the head, hammer on the head of the nail. How does that?
Something like that.
Yeah. If you can start looking at your prep as when you're 16 weeks out, you're not 16 weeks out, you're 20 weeks out, because you're like 20 weeks out from reality. I think that would be the better one. So you think of your diet not ending after the show, but think of it ending a month after your show, and then get through that month. If you get through that month with increasing your calories and you're still tracking everything, you're going to be just fine. It's the first month. That's when everything happens, is those first couple weeks, 3 weeks, and you'll do a prep 16 weeks, 6 months, even crush yourself, kill yourself, get to the gym 2 hours a day, do your thing, get shredded lean. And then literally 2 weeks, you'll look like you were 10 weeks out from the show, 12 weeks out from the show in 2 weeks. I see it happen all the time. And I'm like, man, it was so much, just the time investment period. You take 16 weeks times 2 hours a day. I mean, and then you look at that time and then you lose it in 3 weeks. It's such a loss of time. Like, you wouldn't lose that much time in any other part of your life, but in ours you do. So if you make it out of that first month though, and you've been, slowly bringing your calories back, you're going to have any problems at all, because the hunger kicks in, guys. It really, really kicks in. Like, it's if you've never gone through it, it's more than you're probably expecting it to be. When you have no time-based deadline, nothing keeping you from eating that. And your body's telling you eat that. And then your body's also telling you, by the way, when you eat this, I'm not going to get full. I'm just going to keep telling you I'm hungry, even though we're way past the point of you needing any food. We're not going to tell you that because we want to get our calorie stores back to where they were before. So you're just set up for failure. Your body is like your body is like hates you at this point. You have no energy reserves. You have high energy expenditure because you're doing all this cardio. You have high energy expenditure because you have more muscle now. And then you've been calorie restricting. Your body's like, I don't know if we keep doing this. I don't know how long we'll be here because we have no energy reserves for later on. So it's kind of tricking you into giving itself more energy stores for later. And, just be smart and understand that it's going to happen. And I don't want to underestimate, like under deliver on how I'm saying how hard that hunger kicks in. It's uncontrollable. It's really, really hard. If you're not doing everything right and you're not mentally prepared for it, it is really uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there being times where, and I never had this happen, like after a show, I'd be at the gym all excited, I have energy. I'm like, cool, I got energy in the gym. I can crush it in the gym, whatever. But then I would be so hungry in the gym that it would ruin my workout. I have to go eat. And I'm like, how am I hungry right now? I've eaten well enough to not be hungry right now. Like the hunger made me leave the gym. I was just too hungry to work out. Like it's never happened except for like post show, right? It's just crazy. So a couple of things that will help, like you said, like eat your veggies. I always say drink 16 ounces of water before you eat your meal. Add extra veggies if you need to. No one ever got fat by eating just veggies.
Yes. Preach. Yeah. I really like if spinach is keeping you from looking fit, I think we've got bigger problems. Yeah. I don't think asparagus is holding anyone back from accomplishing their goals.
The only one that ever got huge from eating veggies is a gorilla.
And we're not talking about potatoes. We're talking about like green veggies.
Yeah, green veggies. green veggies, low calories. Like just
no cheating with that.
If you have to, go for it, man. Just go nuts on a bag of lettuce. I mean, one of the things that I used to do, which was really helpful, was I'd always have my morning shakes. I don't really do shakes anymore that much, but I would literally throw a bag of spinach in the shake and blend it up. It wouldn't. So the spinach, it doesn't juice, it just shreds and it just sits in your stomach and like takes up a ton of volume. So, I mean, you can't really taste it so much. I mean, when you put in as much as I did, you kind of taste it, but it turns green, but it's just like micro cut, it's like little grains of spinach. So it's not like you're just like chewing all the time and it fills you up and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so full. And it sits there for a couple hours and obviously helps great with digestion. I could handle that much. Not everyone can. But that would be something that I would do too. And just with my green shakes.
I always keep spinach or another vegetable in my fridge, just like on the days I am extra hungry, I'll just throw it in my meals. And it's like, I don't feel any guilt from that because I'd rather eat extra vegetables than like popcorn or something else that you shouldn't have. So if there's ever any doubt, like just go for the veggies. It's the smarter choice. And exactly what you said too with the water, because that will occupy some space in your stomach. And oftentimes we get full, but our taste buds still want more. So sometimes the water kind of delays that and keeps everyone on track. I would also add, when you finish your meal, a few things you can do to help is brush your teeth and chew gum, because when you get that minty clean, you probably don't want to eat food. Like you're clean. I don't know about you, but when I have mint in my mouth, I'm like, nothing tastes good.
No, as soon as you do that, it like ruins your taste buds for about 10 minutes. Yeah.
So, I think that's a really good hack you can do for afterwards too. And you'll have really good breath,
Yeah.
Which is a plus.
Another one is, if you don't want to blend the spinach, is eat the spinach with like a vinegar dressing, or Ashley does this thing where she does mustard and stevia. She makes her own honey mustard dressing. I'll do salsa because it's really low calories. I'll do salsas with it.
You can do soy sauce and stevia. Teriyaki.
Oh, really? Nuh-uh.
Well, it's not
That's
real
cool.
teriyaki, but
no, I just didn't even think about that. That's cool. Yeah. I didn't think, is that what teriyaki, real teriyaki is? Just
but it tastes like teriyaki to me.
Soy sauce, probably. Huh.
Probably, I don't know. Maybe something else, but probably a little bit of ginger in there too.
Okay. Yeah, that, and then, And then the next step would be, okay, proteins. You can increase your proteins a little bit. Pretty hard to get fat on proteins, right? You'd have to eat a ton of them. It'd be really hard to do that. So, adding that to, hey, I had to have, tell your coach, hey, I had to have another salad with a can of chicken or a can of tuna because, I just needed to eat something. But
and I'm sure the coach would much appreciate that than I had a burger and fries. Because here's the thing, if you're truly hungry, you will get satisfied from chicken and vegetables or meat and vegetables. So don't use the excuse that you had brownies because you were hungry, because that's not going to occupy too much space in your stomach. You're going to want something more satiating.
Yeah, there you go. So that would be the first step. And then the other one that Ashley talks about a lot is just don't stockpile all these crazy foods too, like post show.
That's in your hotel room.
It's crazy.
That food will still be on the shelves next week or the day after. You don't need to bring a whole dozen donuts to your room, because I don't know, if you're in your hotel room, those donuts just going to keep looking at you and they're going to say, eat me. And you probably will eat them all.
Yeah.
So, if you want one donut, keep it in your hotel room. Sure. I get it. Something nice to come back to, but don't overdo it with the hoarding of snacks.
Yeah. I have a thing, because once in a while, we go to the Mexican grocery store and get like the chicken that I eat and stuff there. And ceviche, which is like just shrimp, but it's I also get, when I'm there, they have like these breads, these like sweet breads. Mm-hmm. And so, but they're huge. They're so big. It's like $1. They're like a giant cake piece. It's like this. Ton of frosting. So I take the frosting off the top and I eat like my piece. And then I'm like, Kimber, you want any of this? She's like, no. And then I smash it because if it sits in the refrigerator, I'm going to eat it. So I smash it and do it like a ball and throw it in the trash. Cause I'm like, that's for sure a 1,200, 1,500 calorie piece of cake there. So I'll eat my 300 calories worth or whatever. And then I'm like, you want any? She'll take a bite or two and then smash time, So I know that, like myself, if I just have that in there, I'll snack on it throughout the week for a couple of days, and I'm eating an extra 1,500 calories.
I would do the same.
Yeah. When I only wanted it then. And that's the thing, is that we don't, I think that we all have a problem with this, is that when we don't have how do I say this? We don't have like a set amount of size that satisfies our craving. We just eat whatever we're given. Mm-hmm. And that's the issue. Like when you see, and this is from an old coach that told me, one of my old trainers that I had when I was like 20 years old, when I was a fitness manager, he said, he was explaining this to me. He's like, yeah, if someone gives you go to this fancy restaurant and they give you a big piece of chocolate cake, like they bring you this big 7-layer cake piece out, because you're at the restaurant, you'll eat it, right? And you'll eat the whole thing. But in reality, you would have been just as happy. And you wouldn't even have known any different have they given you a piece that's half the size. And you would have been just as happy that you ate the chocolate cake. So I was like, yeah, you're right. We eat based on what's given, based on the volume that we purchase, not based on, hey, I'm happy after I ate X bites of that. So like that always stuck with me. And so for me, when I get that piece of cake, I'm like, okay, I just want the taste of it. I want a few bites of this, and then I'll savor it. And I'll be like, that was really good. I know I shouldn't be eating that 1,500 calorie cake right now, right? So I'll eat a couple bites, and then I'm like, okay, I'm happy now. And if I was given only that much of it, I would have been happy. But because I had to buy this much of it, like I feel like I'm, wasting whatever. So, but I'm not going to get those calories. And a lot of times, just I feed it to the birds, just so you know, because I don't actually I don't like throwing food. I throw it to the birds. But that's why I smash it, because I won't eat a smashed piece. So so I think that's the mindset we need to be in, is okay, how much of this do I need to eat to be happy that I had it? Is the donut, maybe the donut's $6 and it's this big, but you only wanted 5 bites and you're happy with it, so that'd be another thing too. Yeah, you could still satisfy those cravings and just have the bites of it. You're having this crazy struggle, and you're like, I gotta have this pink box donut, and just have your piece where you're happy with it, and then just throw the rest away. Feed it to the birds.
Yeah. If we can avoid wasting, that's all.
Yes, Ashley's big. She's gotten me good at wasting. I feed a lot of birds. I like feeding the birds.
Yeah, they like when you feed them. They're like, please feed us.
In Hawaii, actually, back behind here too, I feed the birds too. They go, yeah. Aww. Like foods that maybe will go bad, bread that goes bad, or whatever. And they come. When I was in Hawaii for your show a couple years ago, I had so many birds, so many. It was, Kimber was taking videos of it, because I don't know. There's these breads that they had this like chicken in, but I'd only eat a little bit of the chicken in the bread. It was like in the bread. It was too much bread, but I wanted the chicken, so I'd eat it. And then I had all this extra bread, and you'd have to buy like 5 of them to get enough chicken. So I had all this bread, and I started just surrounded by like 100 birds. It was so fun. Anyway, I like birds. My grandpa used to feed birds, so I like feeding birds.
Well, good. He taught you well. So after you rebound, which at some point you probably will, you're going to experience some guilt. Well, most people will anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a negative emotion. We don't like guilt. We don't want guilt to weigh us down. We want to move on, and it's a new day. Got to get on with our lives, right? However, I do think it can be helpful just to remember the moment, right? The feeling of guilt. And you can revisit that feeling anytime you have the urge to eat something you shouldn't, right? So I know it sounds cheesy, but if you're one of these types of people, write it down on a note and put it on the fridge. Like on April 10th, I binged this weekend. I felt like absolute crap afterwards. I will not do that again, right? You can do that. Stick it on the fridge. You want to record a selfie video, and just explain, wow, I effed up bad. It was not worth it. You can do that too. Whatever you need to do. I'm not like a journaler. I just keep it in my mind. So I know, like, man, every time I go over, like, I just think that equals a lot of cardio. I don't want to do that. Yep. Like what is the consequence of your action? So in the moment, yeah, it tastes good. The food tastes good. You're satisfied, but the next day you're probably going to have the feeling of guilt. So just remember.
That's why I call it expensive. Yeah. That's why I code it as expensive, because I think of it as lost time, right? Or lost investment of calories. It's such a waste of investment in calories. Like you wouldn't work. Like I feel like all the calorie reduction you have is like an investment of like your time and your let's put it in like a money context, right? If you saved all this money, you wouldn't just like go and blow it on one thing that didn't bring you anything long term. Like you wouldn't do that. It's the same type of thing. You're using all this time to create this body, and then you just go and blow it on one thing, right? That doesn't give you that much satisfaction. So it's like people generally don't do that, at least, like go and spend like their savings on something that lasts for a couple hours. Like, so I just think I say it as expensive. That's I want to eat that, but it's a little expensive, meaning like, that means the next couple of weeks, like I'll have to keep it really close. I'll have to do a little bit, keep my diet in check. I'll probably do a little bit more cardio session, like, that type of thing. Is it really worth the expense of that meal and the way I feel after it? Am I gonna have acid reflux? Am I gonna feel bloated? Or when I'm done, I'm gonna feel guilty? Like, it's pretty expensive. Is it actually worth it? That's how I think. Is that, the healthiest way of doing it? It works for me. I think of it as that's pretty expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we all have our ways to kind of think of it, and whatever works for you works for you. Like I said, I'm not a journaler. Can't talk today. Journaler. So I'm not going to write it down how I felt, but I just know from experience, the guilt is not worth it. And it's a lot of work. That, treat equals a lot of work for me. So whatever it is, just don't let it weigh you down. Again, we don't want you just to live in a guilty stage, right? Just your whole life. Right. We don't want to live like that. We got to move on. We got to get to it. But just think of the time when that happened, and hopefully that deters you from going overboard.
Yeah, I think that's a positive thing. It's like anything. When you get burned, you learn it's hot. That's how when you're a kid, you're like, oh, I learned the stove was hot because I burned my hand. Right? You don't go and touch the stove again. Like, you eat really bad, you realize, hey, I didn't feel very good after that. I didn't feel good about myself after that. You tend to not, you do it less, type of thing. So, nothing wrong with learning from those lessons and like keeping them in your memory bank. I don't think there's anything unhealthy about that. So,
yes.
So I think another thing to go into on this too is, and I get this question asked a lot, where someone will go off their diet and then they'll try to cardio it off.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. You're never gonna equate it. Just move on. Just move on.
If anything, get in some really good lifts.
Yeah.
That put the calories to good use at least. But I'm right there with you. I think that trying to cardio it off is really hard to do, because if you Google how much, I can't remember the exact, but how many calories it takes to run a marathon, you're going to be very disappointed. I want to say it's like about 100 calories per mile. So like 2,600 or something like that.
Yeah.
So like it's a lot of work to get off that extra meal you had. Like even you could do 2,600 calories in like a day of bad eating easily. You could do twice that. Like just think of the work it has to that you have to do to work that off. So I think that creates like a really bad cycle of just cardio, eat bad, cardio, eat bad. It's not really good for your mindset either. So we don't want to do that.
Yeah. So you're right. About 100 calories per hour
when running or walking. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting. So that's disappointing to hear, right? So let's say you had like an extra 500 calories one day.
5 miles. Ish.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So that's much like, work.
Yeah, so much work.
That's I used to run 10Ks. That's
1,000 calories. Well, no, that's it.
That's like 600.
Right. I was thinking 10 miles.
6.2.
So 600 calories. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah. So it's like, wow, that was all that work. And I ate this burger that took like 15 minutes or something like that.
That's pretty crazy. It's pretty sad. Yeah. You'll never cardio it off. So just move on to the next day. And you don't want to like live like that either.
Yeah.
Eat and then try to do, 1,000 calorie burn. Like that's a pretty tough price to pay. I wouldn't, if that was like the way we had to live, like period, I would like not eat. I would be like, screw that. Mm-hmm. Like that's a lot of work. That's very expensive in terms of time. Right. So, yeah, dang, that's crazy. 100 calories per mile. So the average person burns about 300 to 400 calories per hour when they're doing their cardio because they're walking pretty slow,
Absolutely.
So
what can we do to avoid the downward spiral? I think it's honestly as just simple as just get back on track. Like I know easier said than done, right? But forget about it. Let's move on, like I said, but you can always visit that feeling if you ever are tempted to eat more than you should, but we do got to move on. So we get back on track the next meal, not the next day, not the next Monday, not the next week. Nope. Now, right now.
Yep. And I think one of the most important thing in the off season is tracking it, checking in.
Yes. Whether you want to or not.
Yep. Because that's the biggest, I have clients that have been with me for years. I have some that have been around for like 5 years plus, and so some of them don't even need it at this point, but we're still making progress. But it's more so like kind of they're maintaining, but they want that checking in every week. They want accountability, they know. And sometimes they'll leave for a few months. They're like, yeah, I just need it for me. And I'm like, hey, I get it. It's cool. We'll still work on whatever, building up the glutes, building up the shoulders. It's not like a wasted time. It's just that, yeah, they've kind of figured it out at this point, their body, like they technically don't need it. So it's something that everyone needs is that accountability. And whether you're working with a coach and doing that and checking in, or you're just doing it by yourself and tracking it, it's a little bit different when there's a person involved you have to like be accountable to. Mm-hmm. But if you're someone who could do it on your own, I'm not trying to sell coaching here, but if you're someone that could do it on your own, do it on your own, but where you're just not looking at the scale, not looking at the measuring tape and hiding the reality from yourself, you want to do that. You want to hold yourself accountable to that. It's not a problem if you do that, so a lot of times people will say, no, you just shouldn't do it because it's not good for you mentally. There's never a bad time to face the reality of things, like mm-hmm. you should be seeing, okay, am I gaining excessive weight? Am I needing to slow it down? You should have that data. There's not a bad thing. It's never bad to know the data. Mm-hmm.
So I think another thing that can be helpful to get back on track is just setting a new goal. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a show. It can be a photo shoot. Maybe it's even a mindset goal, but I think off season is a great time to establish these new habits, to work on the good habits. Okay. Don't wait till you're 16 weeks out to establish the good habits. You have to work on these in the off season. Okay.
Yeah. I think that I like the show goal, wedding prep goal, going to a beach goal, photo, I said photo shoot. So those are all things that really help. A lot of times people get in shape for things like reunions and stuff too, which are really fun. So, whatever it takes for you to be in shape, if you need something, go for it, but those are all great things. A lot of times people are having a hard time. So they'll do a photo shoot goal and they'll like set it 12 weeks out type of thing. There's nothing wrong with that. It's keeping on track. Mm-hmm. So,
and just having the structure in your off season is going to go a long way. So going back to what you said, like checking in with your coach, having an off season plan. Do not dismiss the off season. It's tricky. A lot of people think they can do it on their own. Little do they know that they do need that guidance in the off season a lot more than they do in the in season. So again, don't just think that the season's over when you step off stage, or I should say, don't think your prep is, how did you say it? Your prep is over. We still got another month at least. So
yeah, it's, people have a real big misconception on that. You know, they hire a prep coach to get them ready for a show. Yeah, of course, your prep coach should have a better eye than you do and have you perfectly prepped for the show in terms of your, you know, your body fat levels and your conditioning and all this, and filling you out and, you know, all the little things. But what they can do during the in season is pretty limited to just losing body fat and filling you out and peaking you properly. You know, when you give them 12 weeks, 16 weeks, there's not much they can do besides lean you out. You're not going to like put on a ton of muscle when you're in a calorie deficit. Put on a little bit, yeah, but it's not going to be game changing. All the changes and improvements happen during the off season. And people always underestimate that. And they're always like, I could do it on my own, whatever. And then I'm like, look, you've done it on your own for 2 years now. Every time you start your prep, you give me 16 weeks, 12 weeks, and we need to lose 30 pounds and it's just rapid diet time. Like, why are we doing this repeatedly? And then by the time you get on stage, you look kind of the same as you did the last year, if we're lucky. You know, lucky we got that body fat off you this. Like, it was harder than the last time. It was harder this next time than the last time before that. So, you know, if that's you, you probably need to look at working with your coach in the off season. And it's a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there just like, they're done with prep and like, oh, I'm done for now. I'll, you know, had a great time. I'll talk to you another, you know, 8 months, a year. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, please don't, you know, please, here's the goal. Here's the targets. Try not to gain, you know, whatever weight for that person, you know?
And, you know, no shame if that's one, if that sounds like you, because we all have our holes and no one's perfect. Some people really struggle in the off season with food. I have my own struggles too. You know, I'm not the best worker outer when I'm alone. So that's like my hole I need to fill. But, you know, we all have areas where we can improve. And if you know that's you, it's better to be safe than sorry. And communicate all this with your coach too. If you have these struggles, like, don't be embarrassed. It's so common. It's so common.
If your coach has been around, there's not anything that's going to surprise them.
Yeah. Like, it's like, and you know, you don't have to hide things either.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times clients might feel like the guilt a little bit too much and they don't even want to tell their coach if they went off. It's important that you do. It really is. No one's like going to yell at you. You know, we're all adults here. Yeah. It's not going to ruin anyone's day. So better to communicate everything.
I don't think there's anything that could surprise me at this point. Yeah. You know, I've just seen everything, heard everything. Weird things happen. You know, people fall off. It is what it is. You know, just get back on track. So, you know, I'm glad that you pointed that out, because I think people do that. I've had to the point where people were sending me I had one client one time that was sending me old check-in photos because she was like embarrassed that she was gaining so much weight. And I was like, I was going to find out eventually, you know, like I was going to find out eventually when we were like 11 weeks out from a show. She sent me the real ones. And I was like, what happened over these? Like, how did this happen? You know, it's like, oh, these are old photos because you didn't want to, you know? So it's like, it was just so much better if you would have just told me earlier, you know, because then it was like crash, crash, crash. If we could even get there, you know, type of thing. And it's, you know, it just would have been better. Hey, I fell off, whatever, you know?
Right.
So
there's a few additional things we can do to prevent rebounds from happening in the future. And I think one big thing we can do, often overlooked, is keep like the foods that we know cause us to give in, keep them out of the way. Even if that means peanut butter, right? Peanut butter is so common to have in your house. But man, that can add up quickly. Peanut butter, man. Just every so often putting some on your finger and licking it, that adds up. So things like that, keep it out of the way. Or if there's something that, you know, if you have it, you're going to want more and more and more and more, and you can't stop yourself. You know, things that are calorie dense in the house. It can be tricky though, because some people have kids and it goes in their lunchbox. So I think maybe a good way around that might be even just keeping it at least out of the way. You know, maybe put it in the garage so that you have to make an effort to go there to get it. It's a little bit inconvenient, but that is the point of it, to make it inconvenient to get to, so that maybe you only go there when you have to pack the lunch and then come right back. Because if it's in front of you, you're probably going to snack on it, especially if it's like an open like bag or container. It's more likely to be like picked at. But, you know, just be cautious of that and know what foods really set you off and you can't stop yourself.
Yeah, and Marilee pointed out, I had a good comment there, which I was going to say something about it too. They have pre-partitioned peanut butter packets now.
Pre-portioned, I think. But yes.
Oh yes, pre-portioned.
Yes.
I read it wrong. Pre-portioned. Did I say partition?
I think so. Maybe I heard wrong.
Okay. The what I like about those pre-portioned packets, I think it's usually 2 tablespoons in each one, is that if you're a protein or a peanut butter smasher like I am too, you can grab those instead of buying the jar and then stick them in the freezer. This was a solution that I knew a girl did, and she would have 2 tablespoons of nut butter a day. And she told me, she's like, I just need to always have if you're going to have any of those on my menu plan, I need to have 2 because I'll eat it every time. And the only way I can control myself is putting these packets in the freezer. And then the night before I'll take it out one out of the freezer. And that way I can't physically eat the other ones because they're frozen. So, and I was like, oh, that's so smart. So that's how we always did the diet with those 2 tablespoons. Because I said, we could just switch it. She's like, no, don't switch it. That's so funny.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good.
I think another way we can help our rebounding from happening again to prevent it is identify what emotions cause this. Like, do you find that when you're angry, you just want to go into the kitchen and cause destruction? Is that you? I don't know. Is it when you're sad? Is it when you're happy, you just get loosey-goosey with it? So identify what emotion is causing this, right? Are you in some sort of mood to where it's making you crave these things or just lose control? I think that's very helpful. I think a lot of people stress eat or boredom eat a lot too, especially in the off season. Boredom eating, yeah. Be careful.
Boredom snacking.
Boredom snacking.
Boredom snacking is huge, right?
Yeah.
Where I mess up too is where I'll like wait the microwave waiting.
Oh.
You probably don't do that, but like microwave waiting, like that minute and a half might as well be an hour and a half, you know? And like, when you're waiting for a microwave, you go in your cabinet and you have whatever crackers or we use these little corn cakes. So like, I'm like, why did I eat like 3 of those corn cakes while I was waiting for a minute? Like I'm like, think of myself, dude, are you that much of a fatty where you can't like wait a minute? But everyone does it. Everyone does it while they're eating, like while they're waiting for their food. They'll have a little snack here and there. And I'm like, I'm always so mad at myself when I do. I'm like, what? Now I can't have any carbs with my meal because I recognize that I had 21 carbs. I had those 3 of those corn cakes. And like, well, there goes my carbs for this meal. So I do that. That's something that I need to not do.
I also think it's helpful to find support if you need it. Like I said, talk with this to your coach, but sometimes it's even beyond their, scope. You might need to even like see a therapist if it gets really bad, or talk to another teammate who has maybe struggled with that as well. But don't keep it hidden if you're having these urges to like binge and things. And I know we work with Celeste, if you want to give her a little shout out.
Yeah. Celeste, if you have it, and there's nothing embarrassing about talking to someone like that. I would say, gosh, I can't even tell you how many people from our team have used Celeste. We have had Celeste come on and do seminars for our team. She does them a few times a year for our team through our group page. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's celestial.fit would be how you'd contact her. If you're struggling with this stuff, it's a hole in your game you got to plug. It's just like any other sport. If you're a hockey player and you don't got a good slap shot, you work with someone to get your slap shot better, right? It's the same thing with bodybuilding. Your whole is your off season sets you way too far back. You binge, whatever. Work with the coach to get that right. Your coach's job is going to be to get you ready for the show, but they're not going to be good at everything. They're not going to be the psychologist for that side of things. There might not be able to be one-on-one with you in the gym 5 days a week, but there's other people and to be part of your team. And you got to find out, okay, what do I need for my team to be successful as I can be? Is it this? Is it different gym? Is it whatever, different friends? I don't know. Find what's going to be helpful to put on your team, because it's your team that was going to make you successful.
Mm-hmm. So let's say you're already kind of deep into the rebound, and the light at the end of the tunnel seems so far away. I would say, take it day by day and focus on little improvements, right? If you can, but celebrate those wins as they come. So whether that means like, all right, I stuck to this all week, yay. And I got in all my steps and I drink all my water. So just keeping those in your mind as taking it day by day, I think can help a lot too, because it can be hard to just completely change your habits and mindset. I get it. Like in a perfect world, we'd be like, all right, we're back to normal, perfect 100%, but it's not always like that. So do what you can each day and just take it a day at a time.
Yeah. I think, is that it?
Yeah. I mean, just know that it happens to everyone. Though.
Yeah, I think that's important.
It's happened to me. And the good news is you can definitely improve, because here I am. I think I'm a lot better than I was 10 years ago with the rebounding, the post-show binges and stuff like that. So I've gotten good at it.
Yeah.
So there's hope. There's
and
hope
I'll
for
say,
you too.
I joke around and I'll call myself fatty or whatever like that too. But like the reality is that I've gone through it many times myself too, and so I think everyone goes through it at least once. So don't get down on yourself. Mm-hmm. These are all tools to help you. This is, we've done this a long time. I've done it my entire adult life. You've done it your entire adult life too, pretty much, right? Prep and stuff. And so, this comes from a lot of experience together. We have a lot of years of experience together, but just know, you get progressed to a stage at a certain point. Ashley's, I think, retrained her taste buds, retrained her mindset. Like your reward system now isn't taste, it's like facials and massages and things like that. Like you've changed your whole mindset where that's your reward system now. So everyone has this is a very progressed thing that you're seeing. So we can only tell you from our experience and working with clients so long, but I will tell you, if you're just starting, most likely, gosh, I don't even know how many people have it. It would definitely be, the minority would be people who didn't rebound at a certain point than the people who did, for sure. Like certainly more than 50%. So yeah, so don't beat yourself up if you are that person, because you just got growth to happen, because it's going to happen to almost everyone. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Glad you pointed that out too. So I guess with that, guys, we wish you all a ton of luck in your off season, but right now we're in the in season. We are going hard in the in season. Pretty much everyone. It's July in contest world, and that is a busy, busy month in the contest world. So good luck to everyone out there who's doing Masters Nationals, who's doing Columbia, who's doing USAs in a couple of weeks, North Americans after that, and whatever other shows going on.
I think
Chicago Pro and Vancouver Pro and whatever pro. There's so many shows going on right now, guys. It's pretty crazy in the season. So be on the lookout for more show reviews too. I'm going to do some this week. And then, we'll go from here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Talk to you next time. And as always, teamelitephysique.com. Coach with one of us. Why not? Talk to you later.